Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K rock and metal channel. And today we are going to check out a band called Monastery, Dead. No looks, that means, did either of you know this band?
Gothic Death Doom.
I've been throwing all these new bands at you today, it's great.
I like the name.
The song is called I Am Pain. I know nothing about this band, so it's going to be interesting to check them out. As always with our videos, we'll be doing a review at the end and just watching the video from start to finish. So without further ado, let's go check out Monastery Dead. Okay, there we go. Monastery Dead and I Am Pain. I'm going to actually go to Andy for this one first.
We've had some. This is probably the most consistently enjoyable session that we've had on the channel, and this one has been the best of the bunch today. You know, we've got half a dozen. That was brilliant. It wasn't what I was expecting. You know, with the name and the song title, I was expecting some real extreme doom, like almost funeral perhaps, but that was top quality brutal death metal. I think with sort of doom elements. Loved the opening riff, the guitar tone and everything. But when the vocalist came in, I was like, it was a real wow moment. I thought that was, absolutely fantastic. Probably the best guttural death metal vocal delivery I've heard in a very long time. I thought he was excellent. Very, very disturbing video. I always get chills when I see sort of white tiled rooms. It just reminds me of sort of like the horrors of the early Saw films. There's a throwback to the Japanese series of the Ring and Resident Evil films. It's a very, very disturbing video, and I've never heard a music video incorporate, whether it's on the track, shotgun reloads. That was an interesting element. But yeah, again, another great mix of performance video and story. Very, very disturbing story, with the finality of the end of it. But excellent band, excellent. I absolutely loved it. Want to hear more about these guys. Very, very, extreme. The extreme end of death metal. Very well produced. The sound was great. Video was great. Really, really enjoyed it. And I'm sure Kirk, you'll fill in some of my gaps with some comparisons and the styles and everything. But that was fantastic.
Over to you, Kirk.
I'm going to give you an example of that saying it's a small world. 2019, I'm at a metal festival in the Czech Republic called Brutal Assault, and I'm in the queue for a beer, and I get speaking to this chap from Russia, and he's in a band, and I've just realized the name of his band is Monastery Dead. I've actually met this guy 5 years ago, just in passing. I think he even gave me like a business card. So that name, when you said Monastery Dead, it's like, where do I know that from? So I've checked out, they're from Russia, and that's where I connected the dots. That song absolutely, well, I was going to say literally blew me away. It didn't, but it felt like that, especially when he's shooting the heads of those mannequins and the accent, with the drums and the riff. You've noticed that I've gone off death metal over the last year because a lot of it just sounds the same, like bolt thrower, lo-fi production, monotonous vocals, boring, really. You listen to one song, you think, oh, this is interesting, and then you look, you've got another 9 songs on an album, you just think, this is fucking awful, because it's just not doing anything new. That is my type of death metal. It's like Carcass in the 90s, that Norwegian death metal band, Blood Red Throne, metronomic drums, but they just absolutely pummel you, don't they? The guitars, like Decapitated, that band from Poland, who are arguably, along with Cattle Decapitation, probably the progenitors, aren't they, of modern death metal, and you could put that on the same stage with those great names I've just mentioned. Whenever I get music come through at Scream Blast Repeat from Russia, I will always review it, and the reason for this is the vocals are always just so vitriolic. I don't know what it is about that country. Every extreme band I've ever heard, it's like their life depends on it. They've got something to prove because they're from Russia. And do you know, when we have that conversation, what's the point in signing to a record label these days? I think if you're a band from Russia, it makes perfect sense to try and get a deal with Nuclear Blast or Seed Mist or one of these big names, because it will open up your music to different markets and audiences, which is going to be hard to achieve. Whereas if you're a Western band, you could argue you don't even need a record label. So I'd love to see these picked up by one of the European metal labels. Look at the money they've put into that video. Clearly, they take their art seriously. They enjoy what they're doing, and it absolutely pulverizes the syncopation, the crunch of those guitars. Love the production, the high-tuned snare as well. I'll just repeat what I've said. Every time I'm about to say I'm done with death metal, I'll hear a song like that and think, actually, no, I'm back in. So well done to Monastery Dead. And I'm sure I've met the guitar player in the Czech Republic in 2019.
Okay, so that leaves it to me to wrap up Monastery Dead. So, I really enjoyed the track. I thought it was a really good song. Love the vocal delivery. And this is the thing about death metal. There is so many bands I really don't like because you can't understand a word of what the fucker is saying in most death metal bands. If I can't understand you, I'm never going to get into your music. What you got there was a great delivery of death metal vocals, guttural, they're down. But I actually could understand every word the guy was saying.
Yeah.
That's why a good vocalist is so vital for a band. You could be the best musicians in the world, but if your vocalist is shit, get a new vocalist. Don't accept a bad vocalist. Don't accept a mediocre vocalist and hope they'll get better. If they're not getting better, it's like having a mediocre lead guitarist. You wouldn't accept that. You want a really good lead guitarist for the solos. If you're not getting that, you would swap them, but you wouldn't do. For some reason, people don't do that with vocalists. This guy was phenomenal vocally, and it's the sort of thing where I will listen to that and go, yeah, I could listen to that band happily live. There are many bands where I've had tracks where I've listened to the isolated vocals, just the vocals for this death metal band, and I'm like, no, still have no idea. I've got to get a lyric sheet out to work out what the fuck the song's about. If you've got to that point, you're never going to hook me. It doesn't matter how good the riffs are in the band. Nothing. You've lost me completely. These guys would be the sort of band that I'll be like, yeah, that could get me into death metal. And that's the thing with a band like this, is that you can get from a subgenre, someone who's not into death metal, you can gateway into it through this. And then you've got to work through the rapids to get past all the other crap. There was elements of prog in some of those guitar parts when we got a couple of transitions. At first, you're like, okay, we're getting death metal, kind of to the point, love it. And then you suddenly get some real technicality in there in some of the guitar phrasing, which was really good. Riffs, overall, brilliant. Music video, there is definitely a story there. I couldn't quite work it out on the first watch, but it's enough to make me go, I need to go back and understand, who are those two people? It started off as one girl, I believe. Then there's two. Are they the pain? Is there some sort of story of he's shooting them? Is he shooting them? I'm like, I need to watch that video a few more times to understand that story. And that's a good video. That means there's something in there. I do think there's some superfluous parts, like these bits of tubing on the floor. I don't think that actually has a purpose, but I need to work that out. I like everything in the video to have a purpose, not just be aesthetically just for that reason. But I do think, like him in a wheelchair, there's a reason he's in a wheelchair. There's purpose there, and I like that. I like the blend of moving that between the storytelling and the live performance. I thought that worked really well. You don't get use of the sounds of shotguns in a lot of them. I've heard there's a few bands, Megadeth have done it on Euthanasia. They did it on one of their tracks. I can't remember.
Suicide Silence have video, don't they? You know, when there's people in a shooting range and they're in the booth, aren't they? That's probably the most famous example.
It does happen occasionally, but I think they did it really, really well in this particular track. And yeah, just a thoroughly enjoyable video for today's session. So yeah, definitely a band to keep a check on. So we go, Monastery Dead and I Am Pain. Now, if you enjoyed our video today, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.